Hi everyone, welcome back to Katarina's Garage. My name is Katarina Lloyd. I did not bring any of my filming equipment, and well, I'm actually here at an auction that by the time you see this video, this auction will be over, but because there's other videos that I want to put out before this, sorry about that, but we're actually out in Strathcona County. And well, check out some of the vehicles. Like there's this old Honda motorcycle that, well, there's still 4 days left in this auction at this point. But man, this thing's actually in pretty good shape overall. It does run, and really not in bad shape at all. I don't even know exactly what it is. I know it's obviously a Honda, but is it a GL500? Is it a 350? Is it a 750? I think it's probably closer to like a 500 or a 400, but you know, it's a nice looking bike. And to be honest, this is a bike that I would potentially own. You know, just looking here is a Bombardier Itis. If you've never heard of these were made by Bombardier. They actually used a Volkswagen 4-cylinder, not the flat 4 that you're used to seeing in Beetles. And it's cool because like the hoods, they fold back onto the windshield like that to work on the motor. It's quite an ingenious design. And these are actually a full amphibious vehicle. And now the thing is, the Canadian military actually used these for a little while. But if you look at all this stuff in here, it's all Volkswagen, you know? That's a Volkswagen gauge there. That's a Volkswagen 4-speed transmission and everything, and it's just really cool. You know, and these things, when they're in good shape, yeah, you can drive this straight into a lake and it'll float. And then it'll, you can drive it with the back tires. It's really, really cool. I haven't seen one of these in person, to be honest. And they're quite heavy duty, to be honest, because they actually, the steel is really thick. So, yeah, it's very neat. It's a little muddy out here, but that's okay. Just want to close this hood, you know? And actually here we have this old, oh, see, now this is what happens if you run straight water and then you let it sit through the winter. It freezes, expands, and cracks your block. Look at how badly this is cracked, because it doesn't just go here. It goes all the way to the other side, too. So, word to the wise, if you're going to run water in your car, and if there's anywhere towards 0-degree weather, Celsius anyways, you want to remove all the water. It's better off if you actually remove the water entirely. Yeah, because this is the rad, too.
Cast iron just...
Yeah, the cast iron rad, just it's gone. So yeah, just word to the wise, never use water in your storage. And you know, here we have some buggies and stuff like that. There is a Jeep that I'll show you guys here in a moment, but just really cool, all of these. There actually happens to be like this thing, which I think this thing's more of a homebrew job, but and a lot of these typically are, and various degrees of conditions and as well of quality. There's a couple of them here that are actually really good quality. Alas, they just weren't maintained all that well. Like, because even this one here that Keith is looking at the moment, this is another homebrew job. Very well built, but the problem is, so whenever, if it's really cool with these Volkswagen flat 4s to put a big honking exhaust like this on it, this straight up, because it matches the style of the vehicle. However, the problem with this is that if you don't, because there's this term called the hater flap, which it's for if you have an exhaust like this or even on your turbo vehicles where water doesn't get in, but when you hit the throttle, it would open so that you can get the exhaust out, right? And if you're going to run a style like this, you definitely need to do that. But so this motor's locked up, I believe, because of that purpose. You know, we have another, you know, sand rail here, which is quite cool. And it just, stuff you don't typically see. And like, that's a single cylinder motor, whatever it is.
It's like some transversely mounted Honda setup. I've never seen like that.
Yeah, like this is very odd. You know, like it's straight out of a...
Might be out of a quad. I don't know.
Might be. That makes more sense, because I'm almost thinking, unless if it's... Because there's only one engine that I can think on a bike that was single cylinder, which is like a Suzuki Savage. But I don't think that's a Savage engine. I don't know. Somebody in the comments might be able to tell me. What is this motor here? It just
like this
kind of
looks like it's part of a quad or something here.
Yeah, and it may have just been out of a quad too. It's hard to say for sure. You know, it's interesting because you got this tiny little rad here, and then you've got an that's actually an oil cooler on the front of it. So it's a very tiny oil cooler, but again, you don't need that much for this. But that's really cool. Might be a transmission cooler, but it's probably an oil cooler. You know, another, again, homebrew job. A lot of these are just homebrew, so I can't really say too much about them because I don't know. You know, although this one actually does say Stinger, so maybe it is actually not a homebrew. But still, it's very nice. And there's all of these around here. And now, like these are something you typically don't see. So what these are Honda Pilots. This is what replaced, actually, those back there, which are Honda Odysseys. And you might think, wait, Honda Odyssey, that's a minivan. Well, before the minivan, the Odyssey existed in the 80s as that little thing. And now, because you can tell the difference, look at how much beefier this is on this Pilot compared to the old Honda Odyssey. The old Honda Odyssey was just kind of a proof of concept, and they didn't have near as much of a cage on them or anything like that. And they're also sit a lot lower than their Honda Pilot counterparts. So it's very cool. But then lastly in this little row, before I check out that Jeep over there, is we have this old rail, which I don't know what engine's in this, but it's actually quite well built overall. You know, it's definitely an older thing. It's got a little turbo here. It's kind of hard to see, but I don't know if anybody can identify this engine. I kind of recognize this intake, but I don't really know. You know, because I don't think it's a Toyota 1Z or anything like that, or a 4AGE, but it's a little 4-pot turbo. If anybody can let me know what that is, that'd be cool. Because yeah, it's just crazy. Like this is something that it's built to go fast. And because a rail, the one thing is, what these were designed for, sand rail, well, like rail, when you hear that term, it's actually designed to go over sand. So normally it wouldn't have conventional tires like this. It would have something that is much better for sand. Like oddly enough, even these tires here, like this, is probably what that actually thing should have. Because these are great little off-roady tires, and they'll go over sand like nothing. Now, we don't have a ton of sand around here, so there's a reason why they put sort of more conventional tires on it. But even if they had like a more off-roady tire, it'd just be much better than these. But this thing's so light that it's probably not really much of a problem. Just very cool. But then we have this old Jeep sort of panel here. This is a, I think 50s, like early 50s Jeep. Yeah, it's still a Willys, so it goes to tell you how early this one is. You know, I got a bunch of Bondo here, which, and actually that's like literally just falling apart Bondo. Holy crap, that's a lot of Bondo. It looks like almost no reason. But these had, I think they called them the Hurricane 4-cylinders in them. Oh, there we go. Oh, and okay, these are not original seats in this thing, but those would be so nice. And it actually has seatbelt. Well, at least seatbelt there. Is there, no. So these were integrated seatbelts. You can see the original seats back there. You know, and just very, very cool. And these are a very, very sort of robust thing. The military use these, farms use them, and they are amazing. And this thing's actually not in bad shape. There's just so much Bondo in it for no reason whatsoever. But there we go. And you see, there's the little Hurricane 4 cylinder. These did not produce a lot of power, but they just went forever. And they used this motor from 1941 right up until AMC bought out the company Jeep in, I believe it was 1955 or so. And then they put their AMC 4-cylinders in them, which was a 2.5. I don't know what the Hurricane 4-cylinder, what exactly power-wise or anything. But you look at this thing, there's so much unnecessary Bondo in it. So much. Because I bet there's almost no rust in this thing. Because at the time period when this was made, this is probably galvanized metal. It typically doesn't rust. hardly at all. Because like, and actually, come check this out. Look at how much Bondo there is here, and I think it's for like almost no reason. Because I'm pretty sure that's solid underneath of that. Like, just no reason for that. Like, it would rip out.
It's covering dents.
Yeah, it's probably all it's doing, which is dumb. Bondo is designed to smooth out a surface, not to cover up dents. And not to cover up rust. And now, obviously, it's missing the windshield. But that's actually going to be a two-piece windshield anyways in that. So, flat glass. You can just get that made. It wouldn't cost you very much money. But it's super, super cool. And very, very, solid overall. Like, this is something that if I had the money and the means, this is something I would buy. It's just very cool. Just like that Bombardier Itis over there. That's something I would go for as well. But yeah, overall, very, very cool. Oh, that's a little tight. Hey, even these doors, like, look at that. There's nothing. And I bet this floor is just fine. And also the seats up front, they're actually quite nice. Because I think they might be out of like a Vega or something. But they're very comfortable. And yeah, overall, it's very, very cool. Okay, here we go. Let's check out this old Bluebird bus. Now, as you can see, you have to be a little careful because a little rusty there, but...
like summer camp sex in here.
But yeah, this is an old, Bluebird Chevy bus. It's got a 350 with a 5-speed in it. So, what year is this then?
Oh, I think this one's in the early 80s.
Early 80s. See, if it was late 80s, because...
Former residents long expired.
They might still be here. You never know.
Oh, he's right there.
Oh, all right. Well, that's part of it. That's not his body. It's just some fur. Okay, don't touch me with that. But yeah, like this would be a great sort of setup for a, honestly, just a little camper. Because you have a decent amount of room in here. You just insulate this because it's really hot in here. Insulate it a bit more. Put a bed and some utilities in here. This would be a great little bus. And it's a Chevrolet C60. So this would be...
overbuilt.
Oh yeah, completely. And there you go. You see the little 350 here. And you can tell, yeah, the Ram head, Ram Air, or not Ram, but the Ram style exhaust manifolds.
Oh, it's on propane. Sweet.
It's got a newer starter on it, but that's not fully hooked up though. It's a Wilson starter here, and you can see like the solenoid's there, but notice that there's no ground on that.
Oh, you don't need a ground on that one.
Oh, okay. I guess it just depends on the setup. And yeah, this would be a good little bus, and you could have this, because to me, I don't know, I would try just to clean it up a bunch and move it on to somebody else. Just as a camper, because somebody would go all over this thing. It's in good shape, actually. And these, like, people go nuts for these school buses, to be honest. It's just very cool. And, for me, for a really cool school bus, you have to go back to, like, the 50s and the 60s. More so, but this is still quite neat. It's not my favorite, but it's quite cool. And, like, moving on, you got a 2014 Ram here. It's not really my thing. It's a Cummins 3500, very robust. I'd have probably a 6.7 Cummins in it. Not as good as say the 12 valve or the 24 valve 5.9, but 6.7 is quite capable of those still too. You got the old cat eye Chevy here.
3.7 in this one.
Oh, it's a 3.7. Oh, which is unusual to find. So actually, he said that this is a 3.7 truck. I like the color. This green is kind of cool. But 3.7, not really my thing. Although it wasn't originally green. No. It was white.
It's some kind of company truck, right?
Yeah, makes sense. It's got nice tires on it. And this is actually kind of cool. And that's actually a proper paint job. I'm surprised. A lot of these would have been wrapped. So, very cool. But again, 3.7 Ford. Not that your engine options were very good in these anyways. You had the 3.7, you had the 5.4. that was basically it. So in the 5.4, if you know anything about those motors, they have a ton of issues. And they're one just to kind of avoid, to be honest. Because it's not ifs that go wrong, it's when, to be honest. A 5.4 can be dependable, but they do have a host of problems. You know, you have another F350 here. This might be a diesel. No, it's the Triton V10. So that's actually the good Triton. Because the 5.4 is a Triton. They had a 4.6 Triton, which was essentially a 4.6 modular. And then they had the 6.8 liter V10. That's actually a very dependable engine overall. And something that's kind of sad, that's an Ultima Coupe. Something you almost never see. You always see these Ultimas as sedans. Now the one thing is, the only thing I want to check, because it's very similar lines to like an Infinity, or not Infinity, but a, I guess, yeah, no, Infinity G35. And oh, what, it's got the 2.5, so it has the CVT in it, which is sad. If this is a 3.5, this would actually be kind of a desirable car. But 2.5, you run away from it because of CVT. And Nissan CVTs are some of the worst CVTs because they are run with, you know, it's got a scent to it. I'll say that inside here. Well, I think there's, I think I see coffee that was spilt and never cleaned up. It's just baking in the sun. But yeah, it's too bad because with these CVTs, the transmission itself is actually run off of a belt, and as soon as that belt snaps, you can't even rebuild these transmissions. You have to get a new one, which costs about $4 grand. Just avoid any Nissan with a CVT. So this right here, actually, this is, like I said, I'm not going to record every single vehicle here. Like you can see, just some general cars like a Malibu, Impala, but in an Accord. But here we actually have a K9 unit cop car. Now what's interesting, every single cop car has these steelies on it with that center cap on them. And this one being a K9 unit would have actually housed a dog back here. So, which now, is any of that stuff still back here? No, it's not. I am surprised to see the leather seat back here, but there you go. So it still has, that's surprising. That still has the window divider, or the divider from the front to the back.
Smell like dog in there?
Actually, no. And this being a police interceptor, depending on what year it is, because I don't know these very well. Yeah, like it's, the only thing it's missing is like the lights and the siren, and this is basically a complete car. Because you can see, yeah, you got the radio. Yeah, because again, cop car.
No, I mean, it's still there. Usually they take all that shit out.
True. Yeah, just very cool, honestly. And this one, even though it's a little rough, this would make a fantastic car for somebody. These are very comfortable. This would probably have 355s in the back with an 8.8 with a 4.6 modular. This will go forever, to be honest. There are some of these, I don't know which year it is, that actually had 411s and they're the most desirable, but I don't know what year that is. Now, and then something to finish off this little section here, an SL500 Cabriolet. And it's got these Avant, or are they even Avant wheels? No, they're Lexani wheels. There you go. Those were actually quite high-end wheels back in the day. You know, and it's just kind of cool to see these. And this has a little 5-liter. Now, it has AMG tips on it, but this is not an AMG car. Don't let that fool you. It doesn't have the right body kit on it, but it's an automatic, and it has 206,000 kilometers on it. These are actually not a bad vehicle, to be honest. This is before Mercedes got to be what they have their reputation as now. Now, unfortunately, I can't get this door to close properly, but there's, you know, repaired tear in there. There's a non-repaired tear right here.
Look at the little cute quarter windows, eh?
Oh yeah, they're tiny. You know, if I take a look under the hood here, if I can find the thingy, hang on. So, yeah, it was. You can see the fans are right here. You can spin them. Yeah. So this is the little 5-liter, you know, Mercedes motor. They made a little over 300 horsepower, and you know, they actually quite respectable performers, to be honest. These are very, actually, like, quite quick little cars. But something that's really funny, you see all the German writing on here? Yeah, Vorschlicht Oberdruck. Cool system. Yeah, it's just, you know, coolant system. That's a coolant overflow is what that's supposed to say. But it's just really funny, and all of this is just ruined down here. But that's fine. You know, just kind of a cool car. And also, you got the nice wipers on your windshield. Or not windshield, but your headlights. But yeah, overall, pretty neat little rig. Fan of that. There. So, yeah. But yeah, check this out. We just found this 2011 King Ranch here, and like these seats are super comfortable. There's a reason why people put these interiors in their old trucks all the time, because they're just really, really comfy. At least that's what I've heard anyways. But, you know, this just has the right amount of wear too. Like if you want to put this in an old rat rod or something, it's just got that look. It looks really good. And what's cool, because it says King Ranch, estimated 1853. Why is that working without the...
They all do.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I thought you would have had the key in for that. And this being, so, 2011 F350, is it diesel or is it gas? It's probably diesel.
6.7 diesel.
6.7, okay. And again, I don't know about these very much, to be honest. You're probably the one that knows more about these. Oh my God, what a nightmare to work on. Like, it's just, there's nothing here. You know, there's not even half the engine.
These are all you need to do. Check those.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you ever have to work on it.
It's got an aftermarket positive air shut off put into it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, because again, I don't know diesels. Not very well, to be honest. And it's got a Napa battery in it. You know? Oh, dual battery. There you go. It's a dual battery truck.
Dual.
This thing's actually not in bad shape. Like, it's a little beaten up, but overall not too bad. These headlights are clean up too. You wouldn't have to, like, you know, that's something I could not fully restore, but I could restore that a bit. The longest dipstick in the world. Yeah. Longest dipstick in the world right there. You know, and it's just, yeah. Honestly, just kind of cool. And again, just seeing a King Ranch, because these are, anytime you see these in a junkyard, the seats are always gone immediately. So, and because they're worth getting. But yeah, very cool rig.
5 liter.
So, okay, so this happens to be an old GMC Sierra OBS 1500. It's just a base SL, right? But if you look, this thing, okay, it's 5 liter. However, this is the transmission I know very, very, very well. This would be the NV 3500, which was the new venture. It's only got 198,000 kilometers on it. This thing would go forever. It just barely broke it in at this point. And now it's something unusual with these, because I mean, it's got these cup holders, which would not hold your cups hardly at all. But then it's rare to see one of these with the headrests. This is actually, I mean, okay, it's a beater truck, but this is something that I'd be interested in, to be honest. These are always popular. Everybody loves them, and you can make money on these. Now, depending on, I don't know what year this is. I guess I could look. Does it say on here? No, it doesn't. Let's just take a look. It doesn't say there. But these just go forever, to be honest. Okay, there's no sticker there. That doesn't matter. I mean, if it's a 98, it'd be the final year for these. Come on, okay. There we go. I have to really slam that door. But, yeah, honestly, pretty good shape overall. And this is something that I would actually drive this, because it's a stick. These NV 3500s are fantastic. The only thing is, the synchros for the gears are actually plastic in these. So, it's not unusual to have gears that have gone only because the synchros are gone. Popular upgrade is to go with brass synchros. And that's actually what Dodge did from the factory, except for the reverse on that same transmission. Both all Ford, Chevrolet, and Dodge use that exact same 5-speed transmission. Well, here we go. So found an old International L130. Buddy of mine actually owns one of these. Same green and everything. It's just his is clear coated and looks really fantastic. That's really cool. If we continue on here, you'll see a couple of others, and there's something very special that's over here that I would love that car. But first, I just want to check out these. This is an old GMC from 40s, maybe early 50s. That's a 48 to 52, I believe. So that's cool. The old International here, which actually something that you don't see these ones, to be honest. International B100 step-side truck. Super, super neat. You know, and legit, it's just something that you rarely ever see. This one happens to be a manual. Most of them are. But this is going to be early 60s, I think. And just overall, a quite cool little rig. Now, and something is right here. Oh, it's got it's got a roll bar in it.
Yeah, that's automatically 100 horsepower right there.
Yo, so this is a Honda CRX. Now, what's cool about these...
Oh, it's got a black pipe on it.
Because a CRX is basically a Honda Civic that they take the rear seat out and it's just a two-seater, right? This one has... how many miles on it? Only 192,000 kilometers on it. I don't like the GT Grand steering wheel though. Not a fan of that. But
It's too small.
you're just super, super cool. But what's interesting about this is, so this actually has a roll bar in it. So you can see the roll bar right here.
It's actually somewhat
Solid, and okay, it's a bolt-in roll bar. But somebody had plans for this thing, and this is something that if people aren't paying attention, this could be a steal, potentially.
Never mind, I'm buying it.
Yeah, four banger. Okay, so it's got
the other engine in.
that's cool.
Carbureted.
Oh yeah, the carb motor. So this is an early one. Look at the big old super cell coil.
Yeah.
Like that's like an 85,000 volt. And oh yeah, this is just money. Yeah, so this is the carbed engine. So this is an early CRX. This would be a
The newest it could be is an 88, I think.
well, yeah, I thought they made them as early as 85. But
Yeah, the newest I mean.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Got the flush headlights in it.
Yeah, that's true. So, because they did have pop-ups before this. This thing's actually in really good shape overall.
6 of 87.
6 of 87, so it could be an 88 model.
Probably is.
Just surprised to see a carburetor that late. You know, and you have all the aftermarket gauges down there. Like the thing is, this wasn't just some boy racer that owned this. I mean, yes, you can tell it was somebody younger that owned it. Because you see a Gengar sticker, a Thrasher sticker, and some girl crying sticker. But they took care of this. These are usually so freaking beat up. This is something that I would drive 100%. This thing is really, really cool. And again, just something you don't see. Now, speaking of something that you don't see, Buick Skylark GS350. This is going to be a 68 to maybe 70 or 71. I know they built these right up until I think it was 72, but they would have had different bumpers by then. They would have had bumperettes and stuff like that. So this is going to be a little earlier of one. I don't know the year-to-year changes, but I do know the GS, because that was their sort of performance one. They would have had, you know, this little scoop back here, which that's a cowl induction on it. And it's a little rusty, you can tell, you know. Rear fenders. Look inside. You know, you've got the nice interior, actually. Like a little beat up. A little mousy in here, but not terrible. You know, and just overall, a very, very cool sort of rig. So this would have a Buick 350 in it, which most people don't realize that, yes, Buick actually did make their own 350. Just like Oldsmobile made their own 350, if I remember correctly. And so did Chevrolet. Pontiac, I don't believe, made a 350. And yeah, just overall, this thing is just such a treat to look at. Just too bad it's a little bit of disrepair, but, you know, this thing is sweet. I want to say it's either like a 68 or 69, but I couldn't tell you for sure. And I don't know how to decode these VINs, to be honest. Not on these GMs. Yeah, the sticker's gone there. And no sticker there either, so... I'd have to look at the windshield. Let's see. The VIN... Interesting. It's almost more of a serial number on that. As opposed to... Like, it is a VIN. But it's not your typical VIN that you see nowadays. Like, I mean, obviously, they didn't have 17-digit VINs back then. But, yeah, very cool. I mean, this little CRX, though, it's just really, really neat. It's got a little carb motor in it. I mean, because is the key in it? No? Okay, that's something we have to ask for inside. Now something that is surprising to see. So my first gen Civic had this. It's a little, this is for the sprayer for the windshield. Mine was the same way. Had just like that. And now, so this is a 1500cc motor. And you have all the stuff right there for it. You know, to tell you all the specs and whatever else. And yeah, just very cool. I've always wanted one of these. And who knows, if this goes cheap enough, maybe we'll see it around. Because this is something I would drive, 100%. Now let's just sit in it. Oh yeah, this is just nice. You got a little quartz clock there. You got some aftermarket Sun Pro gauges down there. And overall, like, it needs a bit of a cleaning. Got this white headliner in it. But like in this... the horn doesn't work.
Deal breaker.
That definitely needs some shifter bushings. Like, look at how loose that is in gear. Oh god, this would be terrible to drive. Just because of that. But I think it has... That might be a short shifter. That just has bad bushings. Because the one thing is with these CRXs, they have shift rods in them with a bit of bushings in them. So, typically you don't see them like this. But just replace the shifting bushings and this thing would be right as rain. So, needs a little bit of work and definitely needs a windshield. But overall, very cool little rig. And these used to be a cheap car. They've gotten quite expensive throughout the years. But... anyways, that'll about wrap up this video here, to be honest, because, you know, I showed off all the cool stuff. It's very, very neat. So anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this. If you did, please like, comment below, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, all that different stuff. Hope you're staying safe during COVID-19. Good luck with whatever you're working on, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye! Pikachu!